Good afternoon, everybody. It is a beautiful afternoon in Sturgis, South Dakota. We are at the WCW Hog Wild 1996 Speedway at Sturgis, in Sturgis, South Dakota. We are here for the Proclaimers I Would Walk 500. My name is Chip Chapman here for the Diddler Cup Racing Series. It is race number 15 of our 20-race season. I'm joined by two men in the booth today. First, of course, my second-in-command color commentator and veteran to the short track, but it's going to be a little bit different than a short track today. It is Lightning Lord Shivers.
Howdy, y'all. To everybody that is parking the motorcycle off down there in down at the southeast end of the circuit, sorry,
Drivers,
it's just too damn bad. I was coming in a little bit hot in the parking. I was a little bit drunk, and I think I might have knocked over about 50 bikes on the way.
Well, to be fair, they shouldn't have set it up in some sort of elaborate Rube Goldberg kind of domino rally sort of way, where it just looks so dang fun watching them all fall down in a nice little pattern.
Wait a minute, isn't Rube Goldberg wrestling the main event?
Rube Goldberg. And of course, that voice you know, that voice you love. We haven't had him here for a while. Bit of run-ins with the law and whatnot.
Well, I admittedly forgot one of my probation hearings, and they sent the sheriff's office. I was having date night at Golden Corral, and they tried to follow me around there. I had to jump in behind the buffet line. I was throwing flank steaks at them, so I had to spend 45 days in the poker.
Well, if it's not,
flank steaks at a state official.
If there's anything to be flanked by in a standoff, it is flank steak. That is, I mean, it's right in the name right there. There you go.
Hey man,
it is of course Beaumont Jenkins, the leader of the Woo Bah Bah, the fan club, signed the petition.
Hey y'all, hey man, if you gotta go to Olive Garden instead, you could have got that Patino special, man.
Oh, that's
true. I give them
true.
all the stupid salad they want, and I'll throw some breadsticks at them too.
Absolutely.
My life is on the line there. I'll get desperate.
And Woo Bah Bah, of course, currently sitting in 5th place in the points. Jean-Paul Henry in 4th. Bowie Jessup moving up to 3rd. Richard Blood in 2nd. And Paul Alcohol, our current points leader. But it is tight at that top 5. 40 points separating 1st from 5th. And Woo Bah Bah could easily move his way into a better position. Any of those top 5 drivers could really shake things up after this race. We got 6 races to go before we crown our first ever Diddler Cup champion. And
it is so uncomfortably close at the top, y'all. I tell you, it's starting to breathe on you. It had tuna fish. It's starting to smell a little particular. Didn't chew any gum before it came up to you.
It's uncomfortable.
Just invading your personal space. Well, it's just not pleasant.
But it is pleasant for us to watch.
I should also mention that Woo Bah Bah can win the Diddler Cup on a technicality if you sign the petition right here in the chat. That will guarantee him that change.org give Woo Bah Bah the Diddler Cup title, and that'll force your hand. That'll force your hand and give him the cup.
Now, is that the kind of site that if you get enough signatures, the White House is legally responsible to respond?
Bullshit.
Because I've heard about some petition on that. I don't know if that's the same site, but I would just love it if we had to have somebody address this in the United States government. But nonetheless, you can see right on your screen, our front row on the outside is Ricky Walton in that Temecula Dirt, number 32 Pontiac Bonneville. But our pole sitter is Mr. Naga's Most Glorious Driver in that number 10 Kumite Most Glorious Mr. Naga Toyota Yaris, the only Yaris in the field. And boys, we are going super speedway driving today. It is a giant super speedway oval. It is 4 miles long, 4.1 roughly, of over 4 miles long of a super speedway. So Lloyd, what that's going to mean is that means these guys are going to be going pretty dang fast, ain't they?
Yep, they're going to floor it. They're going to race very close together. I have a feeling somebody's going to wreck, and probably somebody's going to die.
Well, we could only hope that at least some of those things happen for a good race. We're going to see them bunching up quite a bit because the draft is going to be huge. And if there's, you know, we don't really do these restrictor plate races. They may have them on. We don't really check. You can put them on if you want. I don't give a shit.
You can put on the restrictor plates, but they don't necessarily have to go on the engine. I mean,
yeah, you can just wear it as a hat.
It'll do it as like mud flaps and put little silhouettes of naked women on it.
I mean, you know, I think if you ask at least some of our drivers, they, you know, I asked Cotton Stuff Body, you got a restrictor plate on there? He goes, no, but I got some truck nuts.
That's it. That's it. You know, that's our form of restrictor plate racing. You just
put some slam truck nuts on there.
Slam a bunch of truck nuts into the carburetor. That's how we do restrictor plate racing down here in the Diddler Cup.
That's how you make a goddamn baby.
Before we go. Before Chip Chapman goes completely off the rails here, I think we better go through the starting grid and go through the field and tell you who you are watching here in this. Let's go through the field. Starting grid. These are the way they are going to get things started. It is Mr. Naga's most glorious driver and Ricky Walton on the first row. Mr. Naga, the pole sitter in that number 10 Kumite Toyota Yaris. Jean-Paul Henry, he's fourth in the points. He's on row 2 with Blind Bob McGee in that number 44 Chevy Prism, sponsored by the Molested Pig Barbecue. That's Cotton Stuff Body in the 17 Taxidermy Wow car, and Harry Gunt in that number 87 Butterfield Diet car in row 3. Elmer Twist and Morris Mayfield on row 4. Good qualifying effort for Morris Mayfield in that Ford Pinto, sponsored by Nihilist Arby's. Joey Rochester in the 49 WCW Universe Roadblock car, and Jasper Cuttisark sitting on row 5. Jeff Shanice in that Jeff Chinese car, that Chevy Prism number 38 on row 6 with Richard Blood, our second place in the points. Good qualifying effort for Richard Blood. Rusty Arcana in the LOA Dodge Stratus number 12 car on row 7 with Giacomo in the number 4 Kiss War Machine. That's Autobahn in the 69 car.
Nice.
On row 8 with B.D. Joseph in that legal bet for realmoney.gov, Pontiac Bonneville. That's Kevin Boner Pillman on row 9 in the number 15 Donger X Injectapen car with Burt McKitchen in the Slipside Red Hot Pizza car. Jimmy Poots on row 10 with Jim Blossoms. Jim Blossoms driving the number 11 KFC I-8 The Bones Ford Pinto. That's Bowie Jessup in the HCL Dodge Stratus number 22, along with Jeff Gordon the Horse on row 11. Big Daddy Thibodeau on row 12, along with our points leader Paul Alcohol in that Bathhouse Gyms Bathtub Gin. What is that? That's a Dodge Stratus, I believe, or that's a Ford Pinto, excuse me. Joe John Winchester and El Matador Toto Rosanna on row 13. Woo-Bah Bala qualifying 27th on row 14 with Fat Daryl. Stumpy Lane on row 15 with Paul Walker in that box of wine Chevy Prism. And at the back of the field, that is Ennio Sparini in the number 28 wall-to-wall Salve car, and Reverend Pastor Chavez, our winner last week. He is on the back of the field in that Crast Punch car. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be interesting. Lloyd, what we got to watch here in this? What are we going to watch for in this race? It's a big track.
I'm going to be interested to see how Reverend Pastor Chavez, you know, he's turning his season around, but he's got to start all the way back at the back of the field. Of course, at a track like this, you know, it's not about where you start sometimes. It's how decisive you are and make your moves up through the field. It's like you got to see the air right in front of you. Sometimes that air is just a whole bunch of noxious fart gas.
That is true. And I think one of the big things we got to, you know, is it possible we're going to see what they call the large one here?
Oh, it's going to be quite the substantial one.
Yeah, we can't say the simple word because I think they may have it copyrighted.
The girthy one.
The girthy one. We're going to see the girthy one possibly, and of course we're referring to a big wreck kind of in the eye of the storm in the middle of the field. So those cars who are in about the first 5-6 rows may be in a good spot to avoid.
North Dakota's going to have to declare themselves like a hurricane emergency because when that happens, oh shit.
They may be in trouble. They may have to. So those first 5 or 6 rows may be beneficial to be there from the very beginning because as they're jockeying for position, they're going to be maybe avoiding by being ahead of the enormous one. So there you go. I think it is time to go down to the track side. I think we've got our. Do we have our pre-race prayer? Do we have it? Anybody got our pre-race prayer for this?
Is there any sort of righteous man out there who has a word to bless the Lord before the beginning of this race?
We got somebody.
I can give all of my big dog bonus on.
Okay, well we got it's one of our Sturgis backers. Would like to pray. I believe he's representing the Hell's Satans, and let's go ahead and give ourselves a prayer.
Let's pray.
Amen, indeed. That is
That's
Roll
a full
Tide.
stroke right there.
That is, you know, I got emotional during that.
I'm
That was
surprised his ass still fits on that motorcycle. He needs like 2 of them.
he fits in a sidecar if we got one.
A sidecar for his wife and for the rest of them.
They've got the matching shirts that say, if you can read this, the bitch fell off, and I'm the bitch that fell off.
That second shirt is covered in blood, by the way, because it's a shoot. And I think at this point, we are ready to go ahead. And, Light Lord, if you want to go ahead and get the mic down there to someone who's going to give us those not quite famous, but close enough, dang it, words in motorsports to just kind of get the effect going on here.
Sir. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. There we go.
All right, that's what I want to hear. That is absolutely what I want to hear. That is absolutely what we want to hear. And let's get this thing going. Let's get these things started. And we're going to see, yeah, you can see the engines are starting to spark. Lee Corso in the pace car is just like taking off. Lee Corso is out of, Lee Corso is gone.
Hey, no. Hey,
that is not a pace we want to set just yet, Lee.
Position.
Lee, where the heck?
Hey, by the way, we went over and
Hey, guys, you gotta admit this is a 4-mile track. That's a long way back to the porta potties. I gotta tell you.
Lee Corso may have to just relieve himself, and we're getting a good look at this track. This is a beautiful track. 4+ mile speedway, super speedway. We better keep an eye on Lee Corso, because we're going to see when he goes around and...
Lee Corso's going to bring the goddamn sound barrier here.
He could have been on pole position for this race if he'd been legally given a license to compete.
Oh my God, what in the hell just happened there? Well, they finally caught up to him, I think. I think someone got up to Lee and said, hey man, you got to watch out. He is now splitting the difference. We say we got a big old...
There's a 4-mile stretch and 1 fire truck to cover everything. That is pure genius on the part of South Dakota.
That is some efficiency from the state of South Dakota. And we're going 42 laps. 42 laps on this big speedway. That should be plenty of time. There will be a pit stop, if I understand, in this as well. And that is just a beautiful, beautiful view. Well, not from that one, but there we go. There we're seeing them.
Good Lord, you can put a shopping mall right in the inside midfield.
And it looks like he is taking them...
As long as it's got a Chick-fil-A, I'm
down.
down.
On the pit road, and there you see that little color change means it's time to reach over there, strap something on, and let's...
One more time.
And let's go, Diddler! It's a goddamn auto race! And you see how wide they are getting. They're like 5 and 6 wide on this. Holy hell!
Get moving! Gotta
Look at that! That is a beautiful sight. Let's just take a look at that from a long angle.
That's wider than the fat broad at Sunnyvale Trailer Park.
And we are seeing Jean-Paul Henry taking a good run, and that is the beauty of this. We can see lead changes within a lap. It don't matter till they cross that finish line, that start-finish line.
You can see the entire field.
You absolutely can. And we are watching...
You can see part of the 10,000 lakes in Minnesota, I think. I think that might be hyperbole. I don't know.
That could be most glorious, honorable Mr. Naga. May he swim for 10,000 lakes.
And we're going to do our best to try to keep an eye on everything that is happening. It is a little tough to keep an eye on everything happening. We are seeing Blind Bobby. Look at them all coming close as we are approaching the end of lap 1. We're going to see some of those speeds as they come around. No idea who is even going to lead the first lap. It's going to be Kevin Boner Pillman going 236.39 miles an hour. Bless his dang heart.
That is fast.
Oh my God, someone going to die if we wreck. And look at how close they are all bunched together. Now, Lloyd, we may be seeing this the entire race. And look at that. It kind of they're making a bit of a shaft shape in honor of Kevin Boner Pillman leading this race.
Yes, I think he's got a few inches over the rest of the field. Of course, it's going to be a test here to see how long he can last.
Absolutely. We're seeing Bowie Jessup. We're going to do our best to try to keep on the camera of all these cars as they start making moves towards the field. Bowie Jessup going side by side with Kevin Boner Pillman. And that field, very nice. And
it's like what they say about an erection. You got to use it while you got it.
Absolutely.
It ain't gonna be there forever.
And if this race lasts longer than 3 or 4 hours, you must consult a doctor. Kevin Boner Pillman's going to lead lap 2. But he is close behind is Blind Bob McGee and Bowie Jessup, El Matador Toto Rosanna. Kevin Boner Pillman, you got to make sure he didn't go out too hard to begin this race. It's got a long race. He's already won one this season.
Hey, y'all.
He's going fast, Mama, 244 miles an hour.
Goddamn, I love this track.
Hey, all you Formula One jazz nut jobs and you Midwestern IndyCar drivers, this is what real speed looks like.
And we are seeing...
That ain't a green spot, that's a turbo plate from F-Zero.
And moving his way up the field is Jeff Gordon, the horse. He crossed the start-finish line at 10th position. But we are seeing moving his way through the field. And this is going to be a lot of jockeying for position. And that kind of jockeying is something that Jeff Gordon, the horse, may be used to in that number 8 Gunk-sponsored Chevy Prism. And look at how wide they're getting. They're getting like 5 and 6 wide.
They put the whip down. He's going right. He's not riding the rail here. He's just gaining.
He wants that 5 points. He wants that 5 points. He wants them at her.
Absolutely. Jeff Gordon, the horse, is in 21st place in the points. Just want to position yourself a little bit better. Get something to hang your hat on for next year. Kevin Boner Pillman continuing to lead, but it looks like El Matador Toto Rosanna has made the pass and is going to earn 5 big points as we cross into as we complete lap 4. No, Ennio Sperini's going to give him a challenge. We're going to see this as they come around. This is the beauty, and you can see on the left side of your screen as you were watching, 28th place, Harry Gunt is still under a second off the lead. So they are packing them down. We are seeing a couple. I'm going to go ahead and see what's going on.
247 miles an hour.
Oh, hot damn. Hot damn, that's a beautiful thing. And
that's a pretty fast speed you got going there.
We got one of the Proclaimers?
Yes, indeed. This is Angus from the Proclaimers band that did the pre-race sort of festivities. We did the set list earlier this morning.
Now, did you just play the same song like 20 times for your set list?
Absolutely, fuck, I did.
Now, I always thought your names were Hergus and Burgess, but I was wrong. It's
Oh no, Hergus and Burgess left the cover band to be a part of the Proclaimers band based in New Zealand.
I see.
We got kind of the system that the Rednecks got, the guys who make Cotton Eye Joe. You know, they've got different variations of them across all different countries, and this is the same deal here.
I understand. That is fascinating to learn. And
hey, the big thing is Ennio Sperini is going 250 miles an hour.
He absolutely is.
Problems with the car.
Now, Angus, we thank you for your sponsorship and for bringing this race to Sturgis, South Dakota. Kind of figured we maybe do it in Scotland. Is there just a huge amount of Proclaimers fans in Sturgis?
Oh, absolutely. You know, they're gonna ride 500 miles just to be down here. You know, you could have gone to Daytona for Bike Week, but I understand you had a little bit of a legal trouble here to try and get that all sorted out, didn't you?
That was a couple months back. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk. It's kind of best to keep that very quiet. And look at Reverend Pastor Chavez going last to first here. He is in second place, and I think maybe that's just because he may have had to just go to the back of the field. He's got a very good car, and he is moving up to that front end of the field. Currently led by Ennio Sperini, but we're going to have a new leader, and it's going to be Harry Gunt on as we start lap number 7. Harry Gunt takes 5 points.
He reminds me of that fella that Mike Myers played in that really awful movie from the late 90s. That's such a terrible cultural appropriation.
I know. I hate when there's a cat in a hat driving this car.
I was going to say, you may have to be a little bit more specific. That narrows it down to about a half dozen, but I think I know what you're meaning here, my good friend from Scotland. But
we are not all fat bastards with red sideburns. It's just 40% of us.
Yeah, some of you are skinny bastards. Some of you are medium-sized bastards. I understand.
Some of us root for Celtic. Some of us root for Rangers. Some of us root for whatever other teams around there are playing.
I think there's one called Hearts and Hibernians and Motherwell and Hamilton Academicals. That's my favorite one because it's just a fun one to say. Jim Blossoms is going to lead a lap here at Sturgis.
Well, tell me, do you think it'd be all right if I could just crash here tonight? Actually, don't crash here, Jim Blossom. We've already had to put you back together a couple times already this season.
And what's very important to check out is that Richard Blood is right behind him.
Jim Blossom's pays an $800 a month premium. He's stuck inside of a coffee can hooked to a bunch of electrodes.
He is. And Jim Blossom's at a very string of bad luck. After being in the top 10, he has dropped to 20th in the points due to some unfortunate performances. He's got Richard Blood right behind him. Richard Blood, second in the points, yet to win a single race. The closest he came was to that one-on-one race-off with Ennio Sparini. But look at that. They are starting to pull away those four cars. Ricky Walton, Harry Gunt, Jim Blossoms, and Richard Blood in that Plasma Train 41 Ford Pinto. A pair of Fords at the front. That is Jim Blossoms driving a Ford as well.
That's very fascinating. I'm also very fascinated to see, usually in pack races, you see a lot of drivers just bunched all up together in very orderly lines. Not so much the case here. It's very free-flowing. These cars can work just anywhere on the track.
It absolutely is, and that's the beauty of it.
Jim Blossom's car is actually manufactured and modified by the people who do battle bots.
That doesn't surprise me one bit, honestly. I think that's I kind of expected that, and you can see, look at that beautiful long view. You can just see how big those lines are before we go over that head.
I hear it has special additional engineering assistance for the fine folks at Spish Shack.
And of course, America runs on Duncan, runs on Ford, and it runs on Bapus.
Absolutely, America run no dun-dun.
Bapus, the official fuel of the Diddler Cup racing.
Put a little Bapus in your tank.
Park in the rear and get a Bapus put in you. Bapus.
Bapus, and we go 3 wide at the front of the field. Jim Blossoms being challenged not just by Blind Bob McGee, but Ricky Walton, and it looks like Jim Blossoms opt to block Ricky Walton, or at least take a draft off of him, and Richard Blood's going to try to file in as well. Look at that. They are going so wide into these turns. Whoops, that's the pace car, Lee Corso. Whoops, my bad on that one. And Morris Mayfield and El Matador Toto Rosanna. We got 5 and 6 wide into these turns, and that is the beauty of such a large super speedway, not just in distance, but in just width and girth. This is a girthy track.
Oh, and it's setting up nicely for the big one. I'll tell you what, I seen Ricky Walton.
Hey, you gotta watch your adjectives there, Lloyd.
Hey, I ain't watched my adjective for nothing.
I think he said bigly. He said bigly.
Yeah, it's gonna be a huge pile up here in a matter of minutes here if they don't watch their butt.
I don't think anybody caught it. I think we're good. And it looks like Jim Blossoms.
Somebody in the chat said that this is a thick track.
I think you're right on that one. May need a couple extra C's on that one. There's a couple extra C's on that C scale, the Sonic C scale.
What it is. It's Jay's wheel.
Looks like as we come around, it might be El Matador Toto Rosanna being challenged by Jean-Paul Henry. That's the beauty of it. It takes a lot to lead a single lap on this one and then hold on to it, because you can lead right after you pass the start-finish line, but you got to hold that for an entire race. And here they come around again. We're going to see who gets it. It is a race to the line every time. Jim Blossoms may have just held on. And he's going to hold on to the lead as we are 11 laps in of this 42 lap race.
And I can tell you that these spotters are working overtime from the spotter stand, which is way, way, way the hell up there.
It's a terrible place to put it, but you know what? We don't argue with these track makers.
I pretty much swear, I want to say they actually just put them up in the Beepus blimp.
The Beepus blimp?
Absolutely. Of course, Beepus, the official fuel of the Diddler Cup races here, is also sponsoring the Beepus blimp, bringing you our fine aerial coverage of today's race. Put a little Beepus in your blimp.
And there we go. There is the shot from the Beepus blimp. It is moving at an amazing clip.
If there's one thing you need to see with a girthy track, it's a blimp and Beepus right over top.
And there's your Beepus blimp coverage. That blimp is going at speeds that are not safe for any sort of rigid airship.
Violation right there.
It's not just the Beepus blimp, it's also the Beepus blimp and Sturgis, South Dakota official spotter stand.
So there are a lot of people driving dangerously in that blimp. Someone just pointed out, blimpus.
Now I wanna reach out to our social media and somebody ask how hairy is his gun, and the answer is, well, it's a quantity that cannot be measured by man, and also by the Alabama public education system, because that's just a matter of opinion and not scientific fact.
Absolutely, we don't need no maths. And we're seeing Harry Gunt right now. We're following Harry Gunt as he is challenging Jim Blossoms, and that's Bowie Jessup taking a draft off of that 11 car.
But hold the phone, check the clock, because it might be 5 o'clock somewhere, because Burt McKitchen is making up a run here to this top 3.
Woo, moving in there. He's trying to gain ground on those top 3 cars. He's got Stumpy Lane going side by side with him in that number 9 Gumboos Chevy Prism.
He is throwing everything at him, including the charred remains of the kitchen sink.
That kitchen sink, of course, has been burned for many a decade. But Jim Blossoms holding on to this lead. And look at Harry Gunt. Harry Gunt has been coming along and quietly putting up good finishes the last couple of
Snatch
seasons.
Bandit is on the run, baby.
What'd you call him?
The Snatch Bandit, Harry Gunt.
The Snatch Bandit in that Butterfield diet plan car.
I tell you what, I've seen him. I'm seeing him hanging around with his this new lady fella, Keisha's Lorraine. I tell you what, I'm surprised. That's a petite little lady for such a big old man.
Oh, Keisha's?
Yes, Keisha's Lorraine.
She's up there with Quiche Spinache.
No doubt about that.
I think she's like French Caribbean or something.
Hey, wasn't she one of them Nitro girls from way back in the day too?
Well, that's appropriate. We are, of course, sponsored by we are sponsored by the Proclaimers, of course, but this is WCW Hog Wild 1996 Speedway at Sturgis, so why not bring that up? And speaking of, let's go look at the let's go see how that number 49 car is doing. Joey Rochester sitting in where is he? In 21st place in the middle of that pack right there. He's got the 17 and the 2 on either side of him. Joey Rochester in that WCW Universe Roadblock car. That is a Dodge Stratus. And he's kind of in the back of the field. Lose it, but again, that's what we're seeing here. Morris Mayfield was up at the front for a bit. He's falling back a little bit. A lot of time to figure this out, to let this racetrack kind of feel itself out. Look at Reverend Pastor Chavez looking for the lead.
Oh, buddy, and I tell you what these cars are doing. They've been up at the front earlier. They're trying to drop back now to see how their car handles at the back in the middle of the pack, as well as out in front in clean air.
And their speeds are just getting faster and faster. 252.986 miles per hour on the most recent lap.
Bugatti.
And Jim Blossoms continuing. And that's the thing. We're not seeing much of a gap. These cars are sticking with the leaders. One of the great things about this track, we're seeing it.
Less than a second between first and 20th. I mean, the draft is very much important in a speed like this. 252 goddamn miles per hour.
That is amazing, and we're going to see, is Jim Blossoms going to hold the lead for one more lap? I think he may just be doing that. Yes, he is. Let's see the speed update. 253. We've broken 253, ladies and gentlemen.
He's gone plat.
16 laps in the books. That is math. 26 to go. And Jim Blossoms is doing pretty dang good right now. And look at those field. The field is kind of condensing a little bit. You said 20 cars were a second off. We're within a second of the lead. 26 now.
26.
And Giacomo just a little over that by 5 thousandths of a second. So that's barely over a second on there. And we're seeing, it looks like that was Reverend Pastor Chavez kind of floating back to the back of the field, maybe kind of conserving some fuel for a bit.
I drop it off a little bit there. I don't know, a little too high in that turn.
Got to keep an eye on that one.
It seems like the middle groove is the one that's going places here. You get too far down the inside or the outside, it's gonna be a whole world of hurt.
And no doubt about that. Lap number 18 has begun. We are 17 in, 25 to go. Jim Blossoms is holding that line like he is Toto. And he's
always on time. He's got some blood behind him, though.
He does. Richard Blood in that plasma train Ford Pinto. And Richard Blood may not be so interested in leading laps. He's got his spotters just saying, keep the car together, do not wreck it, because Paul Alcohol is sitting at 19th place. You stay by the front, Richard Blood. You got yourself a first place in the point series again.
I think I want to issue a correction. I do think that Richard Blood's spotters are actually saying, Jesus Christ, please slow down this damn blimp.
I think so. They're not really adding any sort of help to this. They're really just screaming and fearing for their lives. Because that blimp. Let's go back to the dangerously fast Blimpus. That is the beepus blimp. Look at how fast you can. If you listen carefully, you can hear the terrifying screams of 32 spotters.
And you can also see where they're going to put in the J.C. Penney 5-star outlet on the other side of the WCW Hog Wild Shopping Mall.
No doubt about that.
Marcus double off rack where everything's still locked. Goddamn it.
You may not have been able to hear it, but you could hear over the screams of 32 spotters. But you may have heard that 33rd person, who of course is the pilot, who was just screaming, "Yeah, take it all."
What they did actually, what they did is, Chip, they put in a helicopter propeller to help drown out the white noise.
And then we attached that helicopter
the screams are interfering with the audio.
It's a Hemi.
We stuck a Hemi on that helicopter propeller. It's a big block, folks. Because you need a lot of torque to get a blimp inside the ground.
You think it's easy getting a blimp going 200 miles an hour? You suck it. And of course, we can't have it as any pilot be flying that thing. We got one who has regular flashbacks. So he is thinking he is trying to evade Charlie.
Yeah, Lee Corso would have done it, but he's too busy manning the pace car.
He's listening to Ride of the Valkyries at double speed.
No, he's listening to the Proclaimer song on a 10-hour loop.
Oh, good God. I don't think we need to be hearing that, but nonetheless, we got ourselves a hell of a race. Jim Blossom's holding on for dear life, but anybody could easily be taking the lead. Look at that. Paul Alcohol has just made a move.
Gentlemen, all I got to say is, blimping ain't easy.
Blimping ain't easy. It's hard out here for a blimp. You are absolutely right. And look at Paul Alcohol making his way up to the front. Jim Blossom's going to hold on to that lead, but you got to wonder, is anybody too eager, aside from the fact of just taking those 5 points for leading the lap, is maybe the strategy to let Jim Blossoms kind of drive himself out, waste a little bit more fuel, maybe kind of hold your spot, hold your position, save some fuel for the draft. I mean, we got to imagine there's going to be a pit stop somewhere in here.
I don't think they care at this point. I think they just want to see how fast they can go. Now, if this race stays green, this could really shuffle things up here.
I mean, it could go. We could see a yellow flag. I don't think we got anybody really off. The only car we're seeing off the pace right now is Jeff Shanice. He is maybe having some sort of problems with the car right now. He is definitely off the pace. Not sure what happened if he had to visit pit road. You got to imagine his race is done.
I think the gearbox might just be oversaturated with a little monosodium glutamate.
That's got to be it. That MSG is always the problem there.
There's too many.
We are halfway through this race, ladies and gentlemen, and Jim Blossoms is still your race leader.
Now, of course, we also want to tell you that the official bill of the Diddler Cup race there is the Beepus is also the sponsor of the Beepus Blip, the Blippus, which is blipping races nationwide.
Oh, that is some good blimpus. Not to quell any sort of rumors that Jeff Shanice's spotter fell out of the blimp. That is just irresponsible, and I can't imagine that anything like that would have happened. Now that being said, if there's any truth to that, can we please find him and clean him up?
Well, you know, you fall out of the bouncy castle, and that's what happens. That's why we got the mesh put in there.
Oh yes, the old Jansen Van Buren special.
Nonetheless, we're seeing Jim Blossoms get challenged yet again, but he is going to hold the lead. And El Matador Toto Rosanna right behind him. Stumpy Lane trying to take a high line with most glorious and honorable Mr. Naga's most glorious driver, who is our pole sitter.
500 miles.
And then 500 more.
Da-da-da-da.
And look at this. El Matador Toto Rosanna may have a drafting partner in Kevin Boner Pillman.
And he's going to take that car and lead him all the way.
Well, he's got a long way to go around this track. Jim Blossoms is going to give him a fight. But let's see, it's a matter of who's got the better drafting partner, I think. Kevin Boner Pillman or most glorious and honorable Mr. Naga's most glorious driver. It looks like El Matador Toto Rosanna has got the preferred line right now.
Bow!
Not sure what that was. But here comes Kevin Boner Pillman, going to go challenge him. And we're seeing a lot of cars just speeding off pit road. Holy hell! That was dangerous as shit.
It's not about speed limits. It's about no limits.
El Matador Toto Rosanna is going to lead this, and we're going to take a look at pit lane and see who is all on pit road right now.
Pit road's 125 miles an hour.
Jesus Christ, a lot of cars on pit road, and they're going to need some drafting partners.
Probably run out of gas and at least coast for 2 laps.
We're going to keep an eye on El Matador Toto Rosanna, who just led a lap, and we're seeing this is probably going to be our only pit stop of the day.
Now I'm hearing reports here from pit road that they were going to put in a Sears, but it looks like it's going to just be converted into a Tractor Supply Co.
Okay, that's fair enough. I understand. You know what with the economy these days.
Yeah.
But this is going to be interesting because we're going to see speeds maybe drop down a little bit because there's not as many in that pack, and yeah, we're going to see these cars coming back out to pit road after a lap. Here comes some of the guys who stayed out there. So this is going to be really interesting to see as these cars start coming down to pit road. Woo Bob Bali, Richard Blood. Oh, Boo Bob Bali and Richard Blood may have gotten into each other there on pit lane. Ricky Walton, Otto Bond in that 69 car.
Nice.
And we're going to keep an eye on the exit. We're going to keep an eye on the exit of pit road right now.
Now, Chip, Beaumont, just a quick question here as we see this giant shopping mall being built up here. If you could put one store in a brand new shopping mall, which one would you put in?
One store?
Yeah.
I put in a Big Lots, except the only problem is the L doesn't light up.
I mean, I feel like the proper thing to say is a Bass Pro Shop.
No. You got to go all the way. You got to build another Bass Pro Shops pyramid.
You gotta build a Camping World inside of another Camping World inside of an ATM.
Surrounded by Bass Pro Shops. And of course, I need me a Cinnabon somewhere in there.
Little kiosk.
You just make an entire mall that's a Bass Pro Shops with a food court.
The Bass Pro Shops Mall of America.
Absolutely.
And a 17,000-seat sporting arena.
An interesting decision here. Big Daddy Thibodeau leading the lap, but now on pit road, so he stayed out for 2 extra, and Fat Darrell came with him, so that's going to be some, needed a drafting partner. We're going to watch as they are exiting pit road. Oh, almost getting into each other. Well, the race off pit road is going to be won by Fat Darrell, but I think we're going to see a little bit of a difference there, as they have to get back into line, and we'll see where they can go here. And Fat Darrell is Fat Darrell going to be your lap leader?
Folks,
I think Fat Darrell may be the leader of this race right now.
If there's one thing he's good at, it's parking places and serving out food, and he got out of there in a hurry. He had to beat the trap.
And we are seeing, we see 5 seconds, but I think what's going to happen is this pack is going to gobble them right up. As we are seeing it right now. Yeah, they are just falling right back in line. And our leaders right now of Most Glorious and Honorable Mr. Naga's Most Glorious Driver. El Matador Toto Rosanna, Reverend Pastor Chavez, and Paul Alcohol are just gonna just swallow them up. So they had the lead, but not the speed, I think, as has been pointed out to me by one of my production assistants in my headphones. And we're seeing this field kind of spread out right now. So this is going to be an interesting last 17 laps.
This will make the Spiders' job easier. Of course, they got a lot to deal with right now.
And let's go ahead and check in how the Spotters are doing up in the Blimpus.
Sounds like a tickle fest up there.
We're going enough. You killed my friend. I want to go home.
Man, you just can't beat 440 cubic inches of raw American displacement.
You know, I think that just reminds us that war is hell, and we should just be mindful about that.
That ever start towards DC, that'd be like $3,000 a month.
Absolutely.
440 cubic centimeters of depth.
And we are seeing a Most Glorious lead being taken by Most Glorious and Honorable Mr. Naga's Driver, sitting at 11th place in the points. El Matador Toto Rosanna right behind him. Stumpy Lane and Reverend Pastor Chavez and Fat Daryl using that draft. And the Most Glorious and Honorable Mr. Naga's Driver will be the 8th leader of this race. For sitting on the pole, he was not helping out. He was not able to maintain the lead for that first lap. That was taken by Kevin Boner Pillman. And we've got a big old pack of cars, 7 strong, here on that opening pack. And then we see there's a big old, we see Kevin Boner Pillman. Keep an eye on that 15 car who seems to be all out by himself. Can he reel himself in? And this is not a good place to be, Lloyd. He's in between 2 big packs of cars. That's going to make it really tough.
And of course, there is no worse place than to be than needing auto parts and not having enough money to buy them because your credit card got maxed out. That's your 5th credit card. So that's why we give every pole sitter a $25 gift card. Parts Unknown Auto Parts. The official sponsor, the Parts Unknown Auto Parts Pole Award.
That's a good one in case you need to buy some parts for your 2008 Yokohama Wasatakashi. Mr. Glorious, Honorable Driver, or whatever the fuck his name is. Either way, he got himself some good old auto parts there. Sometimes you just gotta manufacture it. It's a car that runs entirely on putting your finger in your butt.
That's some new alternative energy stuff.
Yeah, that's what they call hybrid synergy drive. It runs on gasoline and it runs
on fecal fuels.
Yeah,
it does preserve our fecal fuels. That's an important thing to know. 29 lap of 42 we are currently on. Mr. Naga's Most Glorious and Honorable Driver is your race leader. He is the pole sitter, and here comes Fat Daryl making a run on him.
And
Fat Daryl looking to lead another lap.
All the ham. Fat Daryl wants all the ham. He's going to the inside.
But he's going to stay right behind the Most Glorious Driver. 29 laps down. We've got 13 to go. And the number 10 Toyota Yaris is leading that pack of 7 cars. Kevin Boner Pillman is just falling back, and he is in no man's land. If he can hold on to 8th place, then I guess that's going to be good, but it's going to be really tough to just find his way without a drafting partner to get up to that front pack. This seems like it's going to be our final race.
I think what he's going to need to do here is he's going to need to drop back that pack of cars behind him and start working with that pack that's led by Jim Blossoms and Morris Mayfield. If they can get starting to run up on them, we can have more people in the factor for this race.
And I think I'm looking through our standings right now, and I think the person who is happiest about that, we're going to have to see these. I think that's actually just happened. I think Kevin Boner Pillman has done just that. He is leading that pack right behind him. We're going to have to see the intervals when they come around. This is going to be very interesting. He's got another pack of cars, and yes, he has. He is in a pack that is 3 seconds behind the leader, 3.5 to be exact. But let's see if they, as a group, another group of 7, can reel in that lead pack. They got a couple of laps to do it. They got plenty of time.
Look who's pushing his way up to the front of that pack.
And that is Wubabala in that second pack of cars. led by Richard Blood. And you know what? I think Richard Blood knows what he needs to do. He sees that in that front pack. I was just about to say, Paul Alcohol, our points leader, is in that front pack. So Richard Blood in second place and Wu Ba Bala in fifth. They would be it would benefit them very much to gain on them and maybe put a run on it at the end of this race. They need to do it. We're going to keep an eye on what we're talking about here. Again, keep an eye on the left side of your screen where that the eighth place car is. It was 3.4. We're going to see what it is right now. It is there gaining ground on them. Actually, that lead pack is pulling away. 3.878. That is not looking good. They maybe need to pull some other people forward. That second pack is not looking good right now. It might just be a battle for eighth.
Add more bodies to the gangbang.
Well, that's tough because there's another like 3-second gap between 14 and 15. And let's take a look at Ricky Walton. He is leading only 3 cars. That is the number 87 by Harry Gunn and the number 69 car.
Nice.
Driven by Otto Bond. So I don't know if that's got enough horsepower to catch up to that second group. But let's go back up to our points leader, Paul Alcohol, who right now, his best interest is to stay in that front pack and to keep that second group from catching up. And let's see, 3.878 becomes 3.898. They have not moved too much. Jim Blossom's in 8th place.
We're gonna need a caution in order to patch this field up.
And we have not seen a single one of those. But we are seeing some cars kind of off the pace right now. Jean-Paul Henry, he's going to drop in the points. He is 30 seconds off the lead. I don't know what happened to him. Rusty Arcana and Cotton Stuff Body also very much off the lead.
Folks,
not looking good for them.
We didn't even throw out a yellow flag here for a body just dropping on the racetrack like.
Fell on the infield.
Fell on the infield. That's right.
We're pretty good though.
Construction of that last of that Sears Superstore.
Well, we are 10 laps to go on this race as they are coming back around. Let's keep an eye on our race leader, most glorious and all but Mr. Naga's driver. That's not a good angle right there. And here we go. 9 laps to go. Lap number 33 in the books. Lap number 34 has started, and they are now 4 seconds ahead of that second pack. So this is just better and better for our points leader, Paul Alcohol. And I'm just looking down. I'm looking down at who is in Reverend Pastor Chavez is going to do some moving. He is in that lead pack. He currently sits in 7th in the points. He's going to do some moving up. I think Mr. Naga's most glorious driver is going to get some good.
May he get some good championship points.
Yeah, he's going to move up. He's currently sitting in 11th.
10,000 more points.
Absolutely.
It's all just going to come down to how they execute on these last few laps here. You're going to need to be smart about it.
And let's see them coming around again. 9 laps to go. We're going to be 8 to go in just a second as they come back around. Passing the pit lanes, and we are 8 to go. Mr. Naga's most glorious driver continues to lead this race. Stumpy laying right behind him. Big Daddy Thibodeau in that 62 Sinead. Dodge Stratus in 3rd.
Damn it.
And El Matador, Toto Rosanna, Fat Daryl, Paul Alcohol, Reverend Pastor Chavez. They make up that lead pack. Jim Blossoms in 8th, leading a second pack of 7 cars that are 3.899 seconds off the lead. And you can see these times, these speeds are going a little bit slower because they're not in as big of a pack. 247.78 miles an hour.
I think they just used up all the last of that, all like the peak horsepower. I mean, these cars are still plenty damn fast. There ain't much of a difference between 253, 247 miles per hour.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. I think really what it is, it's just the fact that there's just not as many cars to just increase your speed through the draft. It's just the fact that they're all spread out. That's really all it is. I mean, they're still fast cars.
Hit on the windshield and shit.
Here we go, 7 laps to go, and the gap is widening. But we're seeing a little bit that 3rd pack is catching up. But I don't know if there's enough laps to go if they can.
They're not going to have enough time. They're going to need to have a miracle happen, or somebody in this front pack is going to absolutely have to forget how to drive and absolutely immolate themselves.
Well, self-immolation is not something we like to see. here in the Diddler Cup, but it would make things a little bit interesting. But I'm saying let's not downplay how interesting this final is going to be, because these are 7 cars with a lot to race for, and we are going to see one heck of a finish. I think these 6 cars are just kind of biding their time, letting Mr. Naga's Most Glorious Driver lead this race and maybe put a run on at the end, because they just know they just got to keep it apart and let it just be the 7 of them as they are jockeying for second and third place right now. It doesn't matter. Mr. Naga's Most Glorious Driver is still leading your race with 6 to go. Stumpy Lane in second. Here comes Fat Daryl taking a look, just kind of getting an idea. You don't want to make that move too early.
Is it time for Stumpy Lane to open up the stick of Gumboos? Gumboos! Available in most airport convenience stores and available anywhere alcoholic beverages are sold.
That is Gumboos, a day full of drinking, condensed into one single stick of chewing gum. Gumboos, taste the alcoholism. And that number 9 car.
All alcohol dropping down to 7th here. I don't know how much of got him in the back of that pack there.
That's true. That's only going to give him 2 spots over Richard Blood. If I'm Paul Alcohol, I'm not worried. I'm thinking about winning this race right now, but I'm not so sure what is happening by Paul Alcohol. He is staying in the back of the field, just pulling the draft along. Here we go. 5 to go. That number 10 car, that Toyota Yaris. The only Toyota Yaris in the field.
Oh, look at El Matador. Oh, he's going to hold that line.
He certainly is. Toto Rosanna staying in 3rd place. El Matador Toto Rosanna, another previous winner of a race. Big Daddy Thibodeau, our all-star race winner, of course. And Reverend Pastor Chavez, last week's winner. Paul Alcohol has won twice this season. We've got a lot of pedigrees, a lot of good race cars in that front pack, and they are just pulling away 4.5 seconds. It looks like this is going to be your race for the win.
Hold up, Jeff Shanice. Jeff Shanice's car is still circulating, and it's really, really off the pace. This could throw up a huge curveball into this one.
That is very interesting. Jeff Shanice is absolutely on. Is right in the sights of these cars. Let's see how they navigate Jeff Shanice in that number 38. Jeff's Chinese Chevy Prism. I think, Mr. Naga's Most Glorious Driver is just going to go ahead and make that pass. But let's see what it does to the entire field here at the front. It is going to put us 4 laps to go. And we are seeing, that pack is spreading up.
I think Stumpy Lane picked the wrong lane. I think he got bunched up behind Jeff Shanice.
He did.
Oh, Stumpy wrong lane indeed. And El Matador Toto Rosanna is still staying right on the left quarter panel, the left rear quarter panel of Mr. Naga's Most Glorious Driver. This may be your race for the win. Let's take a quick second to take a look at what our field back there is doing. We see it right there. That is right in the center of your screen. That is our 2nd pack, and there's a 3rd pack right behind them. So it is still kind of just spread out. Richard Blood's going to have to make his way to the front of that pack at the least to kind of hold off on Paul Alcohol, who is sitting in 7th place right now.
Oh, buddy.
3 to go. 3 to go in this race.
Oh, my goodness. This would be the most exciting thing if either we get a photo finish or somebody's car ends up flying in that lake over the start-finish line.
And we're seeing someone very close on the tail.
That getting close.
Remember, Joe John Winchester is also a lap down. Oh, wait, is he not? Oh, that's sorry. We're looking at the wrong pack. I am sorry about that. That's my fault right there. There we go. That is our lead pack right now. Mr. Naga's Most Glorious Driver. Fat Daryl, 2nd behind him. And we are watching that field. Jeff Shanice is a lap down. But that is a pack of 8 that is starting to spread out with 3 to go. Coming around, 2 to go in just a moment. Fat Daryl has got the best spot. And look at Reverend Pastor Chavez and Stumpy Lane all looking to try to make that pass. Jeff Shanice is going low on Mr. Naga's Most Glorious Driver. Again, Jeff Shanice is a lap down. That does not matter, but he has taken Stumpy Lane with him. This may be an interesting strategy right now for Stumpy Lane.
Oh my God.
Who is making a move. Stumpy Lane is looking to try to make the pass on Mr. Naga's Most Glorious Driver, but they are side by side right now. That number 9 and that number 10 with 2 laps to go. They got the low line, and Stumpy Lane may have the lead coming around. He is looking for the pass.
Goodness.
He's looking for the pass on Jeff Shanice, who is now putting, I guess he's kind of putting a block on Mr. Naga's most glorious driver. Coming around. White flag in just a moment.
One more lap to go, baby.
We are about to come on the final stretch before the white flag. And Stumpy Lane has picked a heck of a time to lead his first lap. Stumpy Lane sees the white flag as our 9th race leader at this point. 1 lap to go. Here comes Stumpy Lane with Big Daddy Thibodeau right behind him. Jeff Shanice, that's a lap down car. Do not pay attention to that 38 car, but pay attention to the fact that he has got Mr. Naga's most glorious driver behind him. It is the 60 of Big Daddy Thibodeau right behind Stumpy Lane.
I'm very hard right now. I just hope Stumpy doesn't let that chance. I'm having a moment. I'm having now.
I understand. And we are seeing Big Daddy Thibodeau staying on the bumper of Stumpy Lane. That might be the best strategy to keep right now for the 60 car, is holding that line down there. Stumpy Lane side by side with Jeff Shanice. But Jeff Shanice has the number 10 car right behind him. And here we go to the final turn. The final turn. Is it going to be Stumpy Lane? Is it going to be Mr. Naga's most glorious driver? They're side by side. Who is it going to be? We got to race to the finish. It's going to be Stumpy Lane. Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
Stumpy Lane has done it. Mr. Naga's most glorious driver, 8 thousandths of a second. Finishing second. Big Daddy Thibodeau in 4th place. Fat Darrell beat him to the line. 3rd place there, Reverend Pastor Chavez in 5th. Paul Alcohol in 6th. El Matador Toto Rosanna in 7th. Ricky Walton in 8th. Jim Blossoms in 9th. And Ennio Sparini. That is your top 10. And look at Richard Blood. There's going to be a gap between 1 and 2. I remember some different drivers at 1 and 2 right now. Paul Alcohol is probably going to hold his lead in the points. What a finish. Stumpy Lane in that number 9 Gumboos Chevy Prism, and you can hear they are very excited inside that car.
Oh my gosh! What a go!
Stumpy, we're really happy for you, Stumpy. Stumpy, we're really happy for you, but Jesus Christ, just get me out of this goddamn place. Please get me this goddamn place. I just need is there a parachute? I'm happy for you, Stumpy, but Jesus Christ.
That's what Gumboos in the car has. Let it go. Let it go.
And there we go. That is. We're gonna just take a quick moment, and we got Lightning Lord. You are down in the pits right now.
Yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to talk to Stumpy Lane, sponsored by Gumboos. Gumboos. It is the unofficial 13th step of Anti-Alcoholics Anonymous program across the good old U.S. of A.
There you have it, Gumboos. And that is a very happy Gumboos team, Gumboos racing team, driven by Stumpy Lane. You want to go ahead and take that there, Lloyd?
Yes, absolutely. You just chewing myself a big pack of Gumboos here.
All right.
Stumpy Lane, that was an incredible finish here. That's got a little bit of bourbon in it. Stumpy, here, have one of these. Tell me, fella, what was it like racing Mr. Naga's most glorious driver to the line like that? Oh, excuse me. I swallowed my Gumboos there for a minute. Yeah, it's that was just a fantastic race, and I want to thank everybody at the team that built a really, really fast race car for us. I want to thank the families of everybody who was up in their blimp that we lost earlier today. They, from what I understand, they just kind of fell the wayside by the infield for just a bit. But this was a long season. I'm glad we finally got that first win on our side. Just want to thank everybody at Gumboos. I did open up a pack of Gumboos here.
Now, Stumpy, have you been chewing Gumboos the entire time in the car?
Oh, absolutely. It's a part of my contract,
Fair enough.
Yep. And, it comes in all sorts of different varieties here. You want to take your lady friend out for a drink, but you don't have the cash. You just go with Gumboos Cosmopolitan, Gumboos Strawberry Daiquiri. you just want something that's a little bit stiff, we have Gumboo's Everclear and Gumboo's Malort.
Jesus. Never even heard of that last one, but okay.
It's a real hit in the Midwest.
Fair enough.
Great Chicago. Oh, boy. Oh,
You all right there? You all right there, Stumpy? You're going pretty dang fast there today. You were going pretty dang fast. So I understand that if you were now the racetrack, the car seemed to be just great the entire time. I mean, you just had no problems with it whatsoever. I mean, was the speed helping? Was the gum boost helping?
I tell you what, about 5 sticks into this first package of gum booze, everything just kind of felt like a fever dream. It was like I was driving through space and time itself. It was fantastic. That was a great race. Let's hope we get a strong finish this season because way more wins like this one. Excuse me.
Oh goodness, Lloyd, you might need to give him a bucket.
Yep, boy, I got that right here.
All right, he may need just
all purpose here. It's gonna hold enough, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner of this Proclaimers Out with Wall 500, Stumpy Lane.
Stumpy Lane, sir. You tried. You have bought Sam and Dakota.
Lloyd, I think in the pitch we got
peeling. We are peeling the season.
Is that Mr. Naga's most glorious driver?
No, you check your mail. You all check your mail. We will find you outside of Germany's Haupthalle at News, yes, or Interstate. We are peeling the season. Now, 40, billion traffic, 40 blimp camera, 40 blimp everything. We are peeling this decision.
Well, my goodness, my goodness, there. That is something. That sure is something.
Shame and dishonor.
But
my goodness. I thought we were.
Winner, Mr. Naga's most glorious and honorable driver. He won first place in pole. He won first place in race.
I'm a little uncomfortable about this, but okay. Well, that sounds like some good congratulations. That's nice sportsmanship to hear. The number 10 team congratulating the number 9 team. Number 9 car had at least one. I'm looking at it. Had one second place finish there was only one racetrack in America, if I recall. That was our 9th race of the season. That was won by El Matador Toto Rosanna. That was the best finish prior to today for that number 9 team. They had a couple of top 10 finishes. They finished 5th. Before they finished 10th at the actual roads of South Tucson. They finished 5th at the Too Far Speedway in Tulsa. I'm just kind of looking through what we're seeing here. 2nd, I said that one already. And this is a great finish for them. The second time that the number 10 car is going to finish 2nd, they finished 2nd on the what did we call that track? What was that number? Our 7th race of the season, whatever that was called. What was that 7th race of the season?
I don't know,
I'm looking for it right now.
Got the list. I don't.
I know. Oh, the High Speed Police Chase Grand Prix. That's what it was. Sorry, I couldn't remember where I had my list right there. But I think it is time. Are y'all ready to hear the updated top 10 points?
Yes, let's do it. I admit I was a little bit worried about Mr. Naga's most glorious and awful driver there. Oh,
absolutely.
I think that's a gum boost talking here.
I think so.
I think that's some hot springs boiling over.
So let's go ahead and say it. Stumpy Lane started this race. Before today was in 17th place. He has moved up to 14th with that win. I wanted to just feature that right now. But let's go with our top 10. I will tell you, there's been some movement in the top 10. Dropping one spot from 9th to 10th, 173 points off the lead, is Giacomo in that number 4 Kiss War Machine. In 9th place, he has moved up 3 spots from 12th, 172 points off the lead, El Matador Toto Rosanna, that number 75 Air Supply Dodge Stratus. In 8th place, moving up 3 spots from 11th, 133 points off the lead, is Mr. Naga's most glorious driver, that number 10 Toyota Yaris. In 7th place, dropping 3 spots after a really poor performance today, he's 115 points off the lead, is that number 40 Ludger Beer Bomb Chevy, driven by Jean-Paul Henry. Staying in 6th place is Joe John Winchester, 103 points off the lead in that number 47, Just Guns, Ford Pinto. Reverend Pastor Chavez moves up 2 spots from 7th to 5th. 82 points off the lead. He is in that number 33 Crash Punch Dodge Stratus. Moving up 1 spot from 5th to 4th. 81 points off the lead. That number 103 Hugger Oranges Pontiac Bonneville, driven by Woo-Bah Bollet. In 3rd place, staying in 3rd place, Bowie Jessup in the number 22 HCL Dodge Stratus, 59 points off the lead. And Richard Blood stays in 2nd place in the number 41 Plasma Train Ford Pinto, 54 points off the lead. Paul Alcohol remains your race leader and your points leader. He is sitting at the top in the number 35 Bathhouse Gym's Bathtub Gin Ford Pinto, and I gotta say, he has opened up a gap. He was 22 points ahead of 2nd place. He has opened that gap up to 54 points with 5 races to go. Folks, it has been a heck of a race. We don't have any highlights of any wrecks to check out, but
I tell you what, if we couldn't get any wrecking, we could at least get some good racing, and we got some good racing today.
I think the only wrecking that occurred and all the bodily harm that occurred was in the top of that blimp.
In the Blimpus.
Good Lord.
In the Blimpus.
In the Blimpus.
And we're gonna tell you right now, we have 5 races left to go. And gentlemen, I think it's time for some short track racing. We had a 4-mile super speedway. How about a 1/4-mile speedway?
Ooh.
Works for me.
I think we're gonna head to Tupelo, Mississippi for our next race, to Rosen Lodge Speedway for the Mississippi Queen Bee Mountain 200.
Get your honey.
Get your honey, get your cowbells, and get ready for some short track racing. I think some people have said that this track is designed in it's a bit reminiscent of that Beaumont Gray. Did I get that name right?
Oh yeah. I think that's the one.
It's Jenkins, but close enough.
Well, I think the racetrack is Bowman Gray.
Ain't that the mother's maiden name of that skank you knocked up a couple of seasons ago?
Oh, maybe so. Maybe so. I think it's best to just kind of let sleeping dogs lie and sleeping women sleep while you escape in the morning. But nonetheless, that is it for us. We hope you enjoyed the race. Whether it's your first time diddling with us, whether you've been here all season, we'd like to thank you for joining us. This has been the Diddler Cup Racing Series. Tune in, and next time, keep an eye on our Twitter, IRMstream. Follow the channel. We'll let you know when the next race is going to be. We're going to hope that it's going to be middle of this week. If it's not till next weekend, we'll let you know of that too. But thank you to Beaumont Jenkins.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And, of course, sign the petition. Thank you to my partner in crime, Lightning Lloyd Shivers.
Gumboos is delicious.
And my name is Chip Chapman. This has been the Diddler Cup Racing Series. We have been at WCW Hog Wild 1996 Speedway at Sturgis. Goodbye from Sturgis, South Dakota. This has been a goddamn auto race.
Hey, buddy, I think they got another pile of motorcycles over there. Let's knock it down like dominoes did.